Here is a long, immersive American story capturing the hustle, culture, and lifestyle of a classic American marketplace, the bustling Ferry Building Marketplace in San Francisco, California. ### The heartbeat of the pier. ### Chapter 1, The Morning Rush. The fog was still rolling off the San Francisco Bay, wrapping the Golden Gate Bridge in a thick white blanket, when Julian parked his vintage pickup truck behind the Ferry Building. It was 5 a.m. on a Saturday. The air was crisp, smelling of saltwater, damp asphalt, and the undeniable aroma of freshly roasted coffee beans drifting from the Blue Bottle coffee kiosk inside. For Julian, a second-generation organic farmer from Sonoma Valley, Saturdays were the long haul. Today was the Grand Autumn Market, an event that would draw thousands of locals and tourists alike, all looking to experience a slice of authentic Northern California lifestyle. He lowered his truck's tailgate and began unloading crates of heirloom tomatoes, crisp Honeycrisp apples, and jars of wild clover honey. "Morning, Jules," called out Sarah, a baker from a local artisanal sourdough shop, as she wheeled a rack of golden, crusty loaves past him. "Big day today. The tech conventions are in town, plus the usual weekend crowd. We're gonna get slammed." "That's the plan," Julian smiled, wiping the morning dew off a crate. "Let's hope they're hungry." By 8 a.m., the market had completely transformed. The quiet, chilly pier was now a vibrant, chaotic symphony of American consumer culture. A long line had already formed outside the Blue Bottle coffee counter, tech executives in Patagonia vests, college students clutching canvas tote bags, and young parents pushing high-tech strollers, all waiting patiently for their morning iced lattes and pour-overs. Chapter 2, The Melting Pot of the Bazaar. The American marketplace isn't just about buying food, it's a social ritual. Inside the historic nave of the Ferry Building, under the soaring exposed brick arches, the lifestyle of the modern American urbanite was on full display. At one end, a high-end cheese shop, Cowgirl Creamery, was conducting a tasting of its famous triple cream empty tam cheese. A group of tourists from Texas, wearing cowboy boots and light jackets to brave the chilly Bay Air, were sampling it alongside a local food blogger who was busy taking macro photos of the cheese board for her Instagram feed. Further down the corridor, the aroma shifted drastically. The rich, earthy smell of French pastries blended seamlessly with the sharp, savory scent of fresh seafood from the Hog Island Oyster Company. Here, locals sat on high stools at the oyster bar, sipping chilled California Chardonnay and cracking open freshly harvested oysters at 11 a.m. It was the quintessential weekend luxury, relaxed, slightly indulgent, and deeply connected to local geography. Julian's booth was right in the center of the outdoor plaza, facing the water. A middle-aged woman named Elena stopped by. She was a regular, a corporate attorney who lived in a high-rise loft just a few blocks away in the financial district. "Julian, thank goodness," Elena said, picking up a bunch of deep purple kale. "I'm hosting a dinner party tonight. I need your best honey and some of those figs." "What's the vibe today?" "The figs are incredibly sweet this week, Elena," Julian said, bagging them up. "Perfect for a charcuterie board with some goat cheese." This interaction was the core of the American marketplace lifestyle, a desire for connection. In a world dominated by fast food drive-thrus and automated supermarket self-checkouts, places like this bazaar offered a return to community. People wanted to know the face of the person who grew their food. Chapter 3, The Afternoon Shift and the Street Performers. By 1 p.m., the sun had finally burned through the fog, bathing the marketplace in warm, golden California sunlight. The energy shifted from a frantic grocery rush to a leisurely weekend stroll. Outside on the boardwalk, looking out over the sparkling bay toward Oakland, hundreds of people sat on wooden benches, eating lunch. The food options reflected the diverse American palate. Asterisk empanadas from a Venezuelan stall. Asterisk wood-fired pizzas topped with local mushrooms. Asterisk classic American smash burgers with a side of truffle fries. Asterisk matcha soft-serve ice cream for dessert. A few yards away, a street musician set up his loop pedal and acoustic guitar. Within minutes, the soulful chords of a classic Americana rock song echoed across the pier. A small crowd gathered, dropping dollar bills and scanning the musician's QR code on his guitar case to tip him via Venmo, a perfectly modern American blend of street culture and digital convenience. Julian took a sip of his now-cold coffee, watching a young couple argue playfully over which flavor of artisanal popcorn to buy, while a group of international tourists took selfies with the Bay Bridge in the background. This bazaar was a microcosm of America itself, fast-paced but appreciative of the slow moments, deeply capitalistic but fiercely supportive of small independent creators, and incredibly diverse. Chapter 4: Sunset on the Pier. As the clock struck 4 p.m., the market began its slow wind down. The bright afternoon sun began to dip behind the San Francisco skyline, casting long, dramatic shadows through the glass windows of the Ferry Building. Julian's crates were nearly empty. He had sold out of the tomatoes and honey, leaving him with just a few scattered apples. He stretched his aching back, feeling the good kind of exhaustion that comes from a hard day's work. Sarah walked by his booth again, holding a leftover cinnamon roll wrapped in brown paper. "Trade you for a couple of those apples," she offered. "Deal," Julian smiled, tossing her the fruit and accepting the pastry. They stood together for a moment, watching the final stragglers carry their paper shopping bags toward the ferry boats and BART subway stations. The vendors around them were pulling down their canvas tents, packing up their vans, and counting their cash and digital receipts from the day. The marketplace was clearing out, but the energy of the day still lingered in the air. Tomorrow, the city would go back to its frantic weekday routine of offices, traffic, and spreadsheets. But for those few hours in the heart of the bazaar, everyone had shared a piece of the good life. Julian loaded his empty crates into the back of his pickup truck, started the engine, and drove off into the glowing California sunset, ready to do it all over again next week.